Okay, so I was talking about my audience before the video cut out, and how in the future I'm gonna put this into work. In the future, I want to be more aware of what my audience wants and the audience's needs. I feel like I just pass by whatever the audience should want and should see. Uh, I feel like it's just easier to brush it off than rather than actually look into what the audience wants. The next question is, how did your interactions with your peers help you learn the semester? I learned that I had to take constructive criticism to improve my ways. I do not like being criticized on my work. I do not like, excuse me, I do not like being told, you did this wrong, or you need to fix this, you need to do this and this and this and this. And I feel like coming from my peers, it was easier to take the information and take the hit, I guess you could say. Um, I'm going to go to all my folders and present all of the feedback that I was given. So this is, for example, one of the feedbacks that I was given by one of my peers, and it was easy to take the feedback because it was coming from someone who was in the same place as me, someone who was in the same boat as me and wanted to improve their work and needed to improve their work and needed to also receive feedback from other people. And here's my next feedback. I actually got two feedbacks on this one. This is one of the ones where we needed two feedbacks from our peers, and I have one here. And then I should have another one right here. It's loading. But it was easy for me to receive the feedback because I feel like when it's coming from a teacher, when it's coming from a place of authority, it's harder to take it because you're like, oh, they're just doing it because they want to fail me, or they're just doing it because they're a teacher and they want to see the bad in it. But coming from a peer, it was so easy to understand where their stance was and where they were coming from, being that they wanted the best outcome for our project because they were in the same position and they wanted their project to be good as well. Those are the two examples that I wanted to present of the feedback and how I got the feedback from my peers. Uh, I like the way that was formatted, the way that we gave each other feedback rather than the teacher give us feedback, um, and the way that we had to work in groups sometimes. I feel like working in groups is fun isn't the right word, but it's nice, to help others and be helped where you need help. In the future, I can use this by, I guess, using feedback from one peer to another in my other classes, taking my paper and being like, hey, can you read this for me? And, give me some feedback. Tell me what you think about my project or about my essay. Um, and take that feedback constructively rather than being like, oh, you're so rude, you know? Um, and take the criticism with a smile on my face and be like, thank you, like this was very helpful to my process and my work. Because I feel like that's how feedback should be seen. Should be seen rather than it rather than it be seen as a bad thing or as a thing of being criticized and being told you're wrong. The last question was, oh, how has your feedback process developed? I learned to ask for feedback and to give feedback. Um, in the past, again, I wouldn't ask for feedback. I would be scared to ask for feedback because I would feel like people would tell me like, "Hey, you're wrong," and I wouldn't know how to take that in and be like, "Oh, I see where you're coming from." I would probably be like, "No, I know I'm right. I'm just asking you to say that I'm right." Um, so I would never ask for feedback. I would just submit my work then and there, and it wasn't a good idea because it would just harm me rather than help me. Um, but in Bonnie's class, I learned how to ask for feedback, not just from Bonnie, but from my peers. And again, in assignment one, I have experiences. I have here how I'm requesting my feedback and what my problems are and what I need to improve and how, and asking if the person can help me or what advice they can give me. Here I have another example of a feedback request. Up here, you know, my organization is out of place, asking, hey, what do you think I can do to fix this? You know, how do you think I can fix organization or grammar or anything? You know, being able to ask for that, and then as well having to ask through a video. You know, with this coronavirus situation going on, we had to ask through video for feedback from Bonnie, and she answered back and gave us the video, and it was really helpful. Both ways. Both ways were helpful, getting it from peers and getting it from Bonnie. In the future, I can use this knowledge that I've gained by not being afraid to ask for feedback, and, you know, just having the courage to be like, hey, I need your help. Can you please tell me how to do this, or what's up with this? You know, I feel like I used to hold back a lot because I would be scared of how my feedback would look, or how bad it would be, you know. And it's hard to tell how it's gonna look, but I feel like it's easier to request feedback and be like, hey, like, this is what I'm having an issue with. Can you tell me how to fix it? Rather than just being like, here, check this, you know. And that's pretty much all of the questions that I have to answer. This was such a helpful class, and I learned a lot from it. I've gained a lot of experience for my future and for my next classes upcoming. And I'm so grateful that I was able to be a part of it, because all of the projects helped me in some way, shape, or form.